Bonjour, Monsieur Mike.
Bonjour, the Lucky Charm Edwidge.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Always good to see you.
Especially, I have an idea for our hot chat today.
All right, what's your idea?
Well, do you remember last episode we talked about communication,
Right.
And also accepting each other
Oh, yeah, without
as
judgment.
we are without judgment.
Yeah.
So I think again, a smooth sequence would be to talk about communicating what we really want to say from the heart and making sure we are being understood.
Edwidge, it's a really good idea to talk about that. I mean, the topic of, well, what I'm going to call miscommunication. Because,
I think it is.
well, we do it all the time, whether we're just kind of chatting with somebody at the grocery store or having a more serious conversation, say with colleagues at work, right? Or talking about any kind of matters with family, with loved ones. It's easy to miscommunicate.
Yeah, because we're using words, but do we know that those words are being understood? Because the connection we make to those words can be different
Absolutely.
from the other person, right?
Sure.
From our personal experience, our childhood, and all the above here.
Whatever it may be. I mean, you plan to say one thing, you have an intention as far as what you're trying to say, but
And it can be so frustrating.
It really can be.
Do you realize that you really are so excited to share with enthusiasm something from your heart?
Right.
And the person gives you this blank stare and they answer like something completely different than what your expectation is.
a big tangent or a non sequitur.
Yes.
I've experienced this. For instance, I remember one time I was at church and there were three older women chatting, and one of the women said to the other, he looked outside and said, "Wow, windy, isn't it?" And the other one said, "No, I'm pretty sure it's Thursday." And the third one said, "So am I. Let's go get a coffee."
That's funny.
Just one of those
Well,
things.
you know what? That reminds me
What?
of being children
Mhm.
and playing the telephone game.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah,
remember
Of course. I love that game now.
Whisper in the ear a funny sentence.
Yes, I remember.
And then you had to repeat it to the next person,
Right.
etc.
Kind of go around in a
And
circle.
Yeah,
It goes,
and by the end of this experience, that sentence was totally different.
You know why this happens, really? It's because, as a listener,
Yeah,
it's easy to be distracted. We're not always 100% focused
yeah.
on what's being said. We often have our own thoughts going, and the brain will replace something unfamiliar with something familiar. Words that we may have missed get substituted with words that we know, right? And
Totally get it.
oh, and let's not underestimate pronunciation, accent. They all affect how these words are being understood.
Talking about accent, as you know, I'm French.
Yes.
So when I first came into this country, I had a hard time. I knew the words, but I had a hard time figuring out where the stress on the word was.
Sure.
And in a restaurant, after you order main course,
Uh-huh.
comes dessert.
Dessert. Love dessert.
Desert.
Ah. Okay, I can
That's
see how
what
that
I
would be an
used to
issue.
say, could I have a desert?
Well, which one would you like? There's the Gobi, there's the Sahara. We've got a few options.
And you know what I realized?
What?
American people could not figure out what I wanted to say. And they were like staying there, like trying to figure it out, which is funny to me because I would say, oh, you mean
Do we have
Yes.
some kind of sub-Saharan coffee?
yes. So anyway, so I really had to become aware of what I was saying
Sure.
because nobody would help me.
well, nowadays we have it online, right? I mean, we communicate
Oh, yes.
online all the time. And I got a story about a gentleman who went on a business trip. And he went to a hotel. It was kind of out of the way. And he wanted to send his wife an email to say, I got here safely. Okay. All it took was a couple of misplaced letters, a couple of minor typos. And he ended up sending an email to the wrong person. Not just the wrong person, but a woman who had recently been widowed.
Oh, no.
And she had just gotten back from her husband's funeral.
Oh.
And she was trying to deal with a few things online. And bam, this email came in.
Oh,
And I've got it here.
I want to hear what it says.
And she almost fainted when she checked this. It said, "To my loving wife, I know you were surprised to hear from me. They have computers here, and we're allowed to send emails to loved ones. We just checked in. I missed you so much that I've decided to make arrangements for your arrival tomorrow. I can't wait to see you."
Oh my God. Do you know how serious that can be?
I mean, well, really, it's kind of a joke, but
But this is a typical example, not typical, but the worst example.
right, a little extreme, but miscommunication.
All right, so my guess is there are things we can do to avoid that.
Yeah, absolutely.
First of all, what I believe is we need to stay more focused, more present, more clear,
Right.
knowing what the intention is when we communicate, not being too emotional,
That's a
being
big
more calm, because
Sure.
when the emotion goes up, the intelligence will go down and we'll use the
That's
wrong
true.
words that come out, you know.
Sure.
So that is one. And then the second thing is at the end of saying what you want to say, because I believe we need to communicate from the heart and being real, being true to what we want to say.
Right.
Even if we're afraid that the person won't understand it, we still have to be communicating from truth.
Well, you can
right?
do that just
So
by saying
what about saying at the end, does it make sense to you?
to you. Sure, absolutely. And it takes 2 seconds to do that, right?
Oh, okay, but wait, Mike. What about if they say yes, but there's still a blank stare?
Are you sure? I mean, that's double check. It's okay to do it. Check with the listener's emotions. Make sure that they're not feeling stressed out too. You choose words that are familiar to the person you're addressing, because I'll tell you, people don't want often to say, "I don't know what that means." It's okay to say that, but it's okay to check and make sure that they're okay with it too.
Can I tell you the story of my ex-husband?
Oh,
okay.
yes, please
I
do.
was-
It's a great one.
I just had arrived in this country and I still was being challenged by the English language.
Yes.
But I thought, let me translate what I want to say from the French exactly like it is into English.
Okay.
So I would say, because I love jokes and I'm grateful to all the jokes you're giving us.
Thank you.
I would say to him, I want to make you laugh. I have a joke to
Okay.
tell you. And I would see their face going like,
Mm,
I'm not in the mood. I'm thinking, how can you not be in the mood for a joke?
sure.
And he kept saying that. He never wanted my jokes. And I finally said, what's wrong? You don't think I can do a good job telling jokes?
Right.
He said, no, but you're forcing me. Right, forcing you? What am I saying to you? I want to make you laugh.
Oh, the word "make," and he was taking it like it was an order.
Thank you.
Oh.
Instead of saying, I'm going to tell you something hopefully funny. Wow, what a big difference that makes.
That is a huge. It's funny. I mean, it's like same words, different language, almost. And it reminds me of a story. And this is a little bit different, but it was someone that I had a relationship with for a number of years ago. And when it came to intimacy, I'm a very spiritual type. I'm very into sharing and bonding and communication is part of it all. So I would often talk about the spiritual aspect of intimacy. And I would say, so from a spiritual standpoint, and she always just kind of nod. But it never seemed to get particularly spiritual. And I remember one time she got very frustrated by it. And I said, what's the issue? And she said, you keep on bringing up spirituality of this.
And sex.
And sex, right? And spirituality and sex. And I said, and she said, well, why are you so fixated on doing it in church? And I said, wait, what? What are you talking about? That's not what, for her, the word spirituality only applied to the building of an actual church. So she had no idea what I was talking about when I mentioned that and didn't want to ask. And it was just one of those things. It ended up being really comical. Like we had a laugh about it, but good Lord, it was confusing.
But do you imagine how complicated it can be?
And it made me sound really bizarre.
And you know what? It
I'm
makes
not bizarre.
No, you're not bizarre.
Not bizarre.
But it tells us that when we don't see any response from the other side, or not the response that is appropriate
Sure.
to what we say, is a good thing. Like my friend who is a psychotherapist always
Right.
would say, after what I would say, a little nebulous, she would say, what do you mean by that? And at the beginning, I would say, oh, come on, you know what I mean.
Everybody knows what that means, right?
And then when I would say, she would go, oh, wow, thank you for letting me know. Why? Because our connection to the brain is not the same as the other person.
It makes sense. And it's interesting. And listen, I promise. Okay,
Oh.
I promise right now. I'll make sure to ask you when I don't understand what you're saying. But so far, I think we communicate pretty well.
Well, I also think we decided to do the hot chat because we realized that we had this ease in communication.
We always have.
Right.
But that's it. And thank you, because I know you see that too.
Well, that sometimes I can talk too much, but you are there. You don't cut me off, because what I notice sometimes in relationship with the opposite sex, they can cut you off or be bored. And you can see,
I'd never do it. Oh, sorry, I figured I'd do it right.
no, you cut me off.
Sorry, I was right there. But we communicate well. And that's why we do the whole heart chat. I think we do a great job with it.
Yeah, because sometimes man wants you to get to the point.
I had a friend who always used to say, where's the verb? Get to the verb in the sentence, please.
Well, maybe, Mike.
Yes.
Somewhere inside there is a lot of anima versus animus, the feminine. I'm sorry, I had to say
Speaking
that.
of foreign languages and communication, right? Anima versus animus, look it up. The Google is your friend.
Oh, God, anyway, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
No, but it's true. I mean, it's difficult sometimes with men to communicate
Sure.
because their thinking is different. They want you to get to the point, and women tend to go off tangent. Their mind goes left and right and center.
My dad was an engineer, and when he talked about men and women, he would often say, I can't believe we are even the same species.
Wow, he was the real male.
Oh, I mean, come on. He was a jet and rocket engineer. Everything with him was logical and lined up in numbers and progressions and linear. And
I think you deviate from all the linear.
well, I think that way sometimes, but I'm the mix of a jet and rocket engineer and a nurse. My mom was a nurse. So you bring those things together and you get this logic, compassion, human condition, numbers thing. And because of that, I have to watch my communication very carefully, because I'll go one way or the other or switch between those modes. And hell, I don't know what I'm talking about half the time.
That's very interesting. Thank you for sharing that. But this is called communication.
This is communication.
from the
We're just
heart.
chatting from the heart here. It's our
Okay.
chat.
So now I think since we admit we do a good job doing the hot chat, hope you're still following us in all digression we made today. We are getting to the questions.
I love the questions. It's a
All
big
right.
part of this. They're powerful.
So, number one, do you feel you are being understood the way you want?
It's a big question. How do you want to be taken? And how do you feel like the other person's taking it?
And what stops you? Are you being honest with yourself and saying what you want, or what stops you from expressing what you really want to say?
It's a good point. I mean, ask or state. It certainly makes miscommunications minimal.
And the last question always come up, because then it links to the meditation.
Yes.
Can you imagine the power of imagination, creating images in the mind? Imagine yourself communicating well and getting the results that you want.
It's a really nice thing to picture and feel, but it's workable. You can do it by asking the right questions. And just feeling
And
right.
now I cannot wait for the poem because I haven't heard it yet.
Okay, here's my poem based upon that.
Okay.
Are you wandering the desert or trying to choose a sweet? One's a sandy wasteland, but that desert's a treat. When the word bear comes up, do you mean undress? Or do you mean the animal that might be quite dangerous? When life plays like telephone, that classic children's game, we need to make sure what we say and what they hear's the same. Check your own emotions. Make sure your words are clear and not jumbled by frustration or excitement or fear.
Mhm.
Is the other person feeling stressed or unfocused somehow? Skip confusion later with clarity in the now. And when you listen, it's okay to say, "What do you mean?" Trust me, asking will avoid confusion unforeseen. Listen, adjust frequency, like tuning a TV station. That's the strongest path to clear communication.
How long did it take you to do this?
Oh, not long.
Come on, say
Not
it.
long. I don't know.
Unbelievable.
Maybe 5 minutes.
I'm jealous. I'm really jealous. I would never be able to do
I couldn't do that if we didn't have this other great conversation. So, I mean, it's how it goes.
Okay.
One flows from the other.
Well, yin and yang come
That's it.
together.
That's
okay, so it's time for a little meditation.
As much as you love the
to
poem,
put
I
it-
love the meditation.
Yeah, to put it all together.
Yes, let's do it.
So we uncross our legs, and we know the routine by now. We
Yes.
get our feet planted on the earth. And you can put one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly, on your power center, and begin to close your eyes to stay more connected to yourself. Take a deep breath in through the mouth and exhale out through the mouth. Now take another breath through the nose and exhale again through the mouth. The last breath through the nose, deep and long breath in, holding it. And exhale through the nose with the mouth staying closed, nice and easy, exhaling completely, releasing, relaxing. And then resume a comfortable breathing, noticing how your belly rises with your in-breath and fall with the out-breath. And as you keep a little smile on your face to create this nice energy field, just imagine how good it is to be able to be heard, to be understood as you speak. Just imagine how good it is when you take a chance to elaborate a little more, maybe more than you normally would, because you're afraid you may not be understood. Just keeping that chance and having the courage to express clearly, using words more precisely, that will help the other person understand you the way you want and deserve to be understood. So take a moment to now imagine this is happening. You have the skill, you have taken the chance, you developed the courage, and here you are, fearless and equipped with words, with asking, am I making sense? What do you mean by that? If you're not clear about what you're getting back from the other person. And experiencing now this ease and flow in your communication cycle. It goes back and forth. It returns back to you. And you're feeling relaxed. Your words come out exactly the way you like them. They flow out of you. You can hear them having a rhythm. a nice voice, a nice ring to your voice, confidence being expressed through your words, and the person really appreciating this cycle, because at the end you feel more connected to each other. You created an emotional bond that you may not have before, which is the key to any relationship in our lives. So feel what you feel, see what you see, projected on the screen of the mind, a person that exists in your life. Just hear them, hear yourself. And then you say, I know how to do it. I feel good at it. I'm going to continue practicing more and more. And you put a smile on your face. And slowly returning back to the chair, back to this moment. Sitting where you are, feeling your hands where they are, and get ready to reopen your eyes, slowly reconnecting to the outside world. You always enjoy it.
Yeah. Speechless when I come out a lot of the time.
Oh, good. That's what we want you to be.
Wow, that was.
And I hope you feel this way too, hearing us, listening to us, and that really you will let us know.
Yes, communicate clearly with us.
Yes, we expect you to communicate and tell us how we're helping you with your communication, with accepting each other, without judgment.
Being in touch with your heart, communicating with yourself clearly as well.
So you're helping us do a better job for you. And we're ready to say,
as always, victory to you. Victory is yours. Claim it.
À bientôt.
See you soon.